Oh yeah, it's recording. Well, Mum, I think it's like a cowbell or a wind chime has arrived. I love our idea of 2025 mental health care, which is locking an elderly woman in a room and drugging her while she buys things off Temu with Australian government money. It's fucking just... It's such a great extraction strategy by the Chinese and by our government to just kind of keep this whole train a-rolling. Yeah, I'm just going to I'll leave that with the package that arrived yesterday, Mum, as we mosey on into a dystopian future. Like a Matrix future, isn't it? What she's drugged in a room, held in a room, and drugged with her plug into the Matrix, so she can directly send her money that is sent to her by the Australian government straight to China. And then, like, this individual who continuously is here, he's just here. And what we get out of the situation, what my family gets out of the situation, is wind chimes, which is what I really need in this moment, is wind chimes. Yeah, not anything else, not stability and a future for my family, or autonomy to make decisions on the estate. No, I need wind chimes. I need wind chimes, and I need whatever the other things are. Ornaments. I need ornaments and I need wind chimes. Yeah. I reckon we've just about done it now, Mum. I think we've just about got enough fucking ornaments and wind chimes to see us well into the future. I actually, if I was to make a wind chime, we could just not do any of this. If you made a wind chime at home, maybe you wouldn't need to be drugged. I think we can see now what's happened. It's like someone's convinced us to put all the women in charge, and the women have absolutely no experience in being in charge. It's pretty obvious. I've got my mother drugged in a government hospital on government money, basically just sending that to China. And I've got my children's drunk mother renting and drinking and trying to steal my children. I mean, I can pretty clearly, I've got a bit of experience in predicting the future. So I can pretty much see what this means for all Australians based on this precedent. But I don't know whether you all can. Maybe just this slow infiltration is not quite, it's not quite tipping over the boundary of outrage. It seems like business as usual, as long as the old biddies have fucking ornaments and drugs, and as long as the bottle shops are open, and as long as somebody trying to make responsible decisions is continuously attacked, you all indeed will own nothing, and you, I guess, will be happy. But we won't be Australian, and we won't be free. We'll be slaves. So it seems like, the United States isn't the only one who participates in this type of soft invasion. It seems like China is also participating in that. and our government is just basically serving this entire goal. I myself, I'm not paid by the government. This is all voluntary. Some would refer to that as duty. It's my duty. Why are you doing that? Well, it's my duty. What do you mean by that? Well, I have a duty to maintain and hold this land in the name of the United Kingdom. It's kind of what my family's been doing for 180 years. And so we've got a lot of people at play. We've got Apple as the incarceration, as the restraint mechanism that my children's stepfather is using to keep them plugged in. That's American, the United States. We've also got their effect by hyperinflation pumping out across the world with their paper money flying around. Donald Trump has one of those paper shooting cannons. As he stands up there with YMCAing with a sword, he's just going to shoot us with paper money and maybe some t-shirts or something like that. We've got China going the full matrix approach by just drugging and extracting our government resources. And we've got Ireland. We've got the Irish Republican Army here as well, just doing what they do, terrorism, sabotaging Australian small businesses, and using manipulation of our judicial system to incarcerate individuals and preventing them from defending their territory. It's you can say we're fully encircled here, except for the fact that I'm here been doing all this. And yeah, it's weird how it's all going on. I will admit, very abstract, very Picasso. Sorry, I'm just gonna have a drink. I'm just gonna lean that on the glass. Very Picasso. It's at least if I do have to retreat, I have something to show for it. I don't exactly know what it is. It's like a weird book or a story or something to take back to my inevitable retreat point at Mount Wise in Plymouth. Yeah, just a slow kind of retreat, and I'm not seeing a lot of support from anyone around me. So it seems like you've all just kind of accepted this. You're like, yeah, I love that reality, Shannon. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, this is all working just fine. I will just note that, listen, this, it's a Ponzi scheme. So the Ponzi scheme, once exhausted, which we must be getting very close, that's when they'll escalate the military intervention. That's when you really will own nothing, and you might not be as happy as you think you'd be. Having recently been incarcerated and been in this type of prison for a couple of years now, that's not going to be pleasant, and it will not be aligned with anything to do with Great Britain or the United Kingdom's very, very good example. This is a far worse example, and they're in the process now of just tricking you. So they're tricking you all into this, and yeah, you're all just, so it's not going to be good. I've tried my hardest to convince my children of this, and obviously if I am forced to extract, an extraction team will extract them, but we've just been hoping to do this diplomatically and not have to use the resources of the Marines or anything like that to extract my family, because that will cause a scene, and it will. I think it will perhaps escalate the invasion. It seems to be balanced on my fortitude to remain on the territory. So yeah, I don't know how we're going to proceed from here. I don't know what's going to go on. I've obviously made the deal now, of a monetary deal. Yeah, but will not put my blessing at any stage on those children, as I said, as their education has been halted. So they're basically useless in any type of situation. They're not going to thrive out of this moment. They are radically impaired. It's it's a difficult situation. I wish you would all just understand that most of what you've heard that's negative towards England, the Crown, Great Britain, the United Kingdom, is propaganda. My intention, if I'm to stay here, is to actually provide like stability and a future, and undo a lot of the infiltrations imposed by these two monoliths, the United States and China. But yeah, we will make deals. If we don't see support from the citizenship, we will just make financial deals. And they can buy it. Everyone can buy things. Everything's for sale. If you want to buy Western Australia, if you want to buy, you're not buying Tasmania. You can get fucked. You can fuck right off. Both of you. As I'm talking about the United States and China. But if you want to buy Western Australia, I guess you can buy it. But if you think you're going to steal it like this, you would be wrong. It's really disgusting, and the only thing holding it in place is the media's failure to report on it. Just considering we've now exposed, what is it now, 40, 50, 30 something years, 28 years of media tactics that are just shameful by an Australian, in the form of Rupert Murdoch. We can perhaps see that it's purely just distribution of the media that's already existing. That is really holding this all in check. It's quite a disgusting reality. The tactics used by both the United States and by China are horrific, and widespread. And it just really amazes me that more people aren't aren't just alarmed by this. I'm not doing a good job this morning. Yeah. Just not doing a good job. Yeah, I don't know what you all want. I think we can claim, like, what we need really is a standard of care provided. I think I am testament to my father's preparations. I think the fact that I haven't attended any of the finest universities, or haven't rubbed shoulders with any of the world leaders or tech leaders or innovators, and have done this, is testament to my father's impact and preparation on my life. So the prevention of that being continued should send shockwaves around the world, especially when we actually see who the individual is, and more importantly, when we hear some of the explanation from that individual. I think that will just, it should just drop the world and smash it into a million pieces like a glass falling off a table. Merit is important for function and stability. When we don't recognize merit, we inevitably will fail. Everyone does not deserve a trophy, especially when that trophy is for stealing children. And it seems like that's the mentality that I'm coming against. It's like, it's a competitive, individual, I hope, game that my children's stepfather is playing to win some type of trophy that does not exist. And the same is with their mother. The trophy mentality, the participation trophy mentality, is now completely encompassing our society. And it is leading to, like, neither of those individuals can really provide anything. But hey, it looks like, according to the West Australian government and the Australian people, my entire extended family, except those in Tasmania, of course, who are in support of me, I guess. My entire friend group, the entire extended Western Australian community has decided that Brad and Julianne Doody are the king and queen of Western Australia. And I guess I can't stand in the way of that. So yeah, as soon as I receive sufficient payment, I will, I guess I'll give that my blessing, and I'll return to my estate. As a failure, really. I've dropped the ball. I'm in the outfield and I'm like, all I've got to do is hold it. I'm going to hold it. And I drop the fucking ball. Well and truly, I've lost Australia. I've lost Australia. I'm sorry, guys. William, Harry, I'm sorry. Charles, I'm just, yeah. I guess I was overwhelmed adequately prepared by my father, and I really feel like I put up a good fight, but just overwhelmed with the level of infiltration by the United States and China. And being that these two individuals have successfully captured and turned my only three children, including my two heirs, on sufficient payment, I will, I guess I'll bestow that family with the status of the monarchy, and I will return to England and perhaps pursue a new union that will have legitimate heirs. That's all I can really do. The one thing we can negotiate on this is to have representatives from at least one country that we still somewhat occupy, and that will be Northern Ireland, in the form of my children's mother's father, my children's grandfather. Maybe a success story. I don't know. It's a very underdog story to build a monarchy on. Bit of very Pirates of the Caribbean type legacy, I guess. I don't have a lot of confidence in it, and obviously those two individuals are going to have to hold that ground until something happens to them, and my eldest son, I suppose, can step into that role. Ill prepared, and just a weird state of affairs. But at least, hey, you'll have wind chimes. You'll have wind chimes, and you'll have ornaments, which is really all the monarchy's ever been about. There's just wind chimes and ornaments. There's nothing else. There's no, And I'm optimistic that, perhaps my return to Great Britain will be, especially with the resources we attain from the sale, will perhaps reinvigorate that region and bolster its security well into the future. Sad day, really. I had some pretty nice visions for Australia, based on the brilliant example set by my forefathers. But it seems like majority rule has won over, and it seems like the Hitchcocks are in charge. So if I could get, obviously I've appreciated the press's respect of this and maintaining my privacy, but I think the people are going to want to hear from their new king and queen, who have successfully terrorized this son of England into surrender and retreat. Financially, rewarded, but surrender and retreat nonetheless. I think the West Australian and the Australian people as a whole want to hear from the successful participants of this coup, of this terrorist victory, and I look forward to hearing them celebrate their win. A bit like the grand final. They won a grand final. I guess this is no different. Wonderful, wonderful victory for the Irish Republican Army here today. And I wish them well in their occupation of Western Australia, and perhaps, who knows, perhaps the entire country, except Tasmania, of course. You touch that and you're all dead. Anyway, I'm going to put up some wind chimes.